Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Cape Rugby TV. Right, so before the break, just a quick heads up, folks. Remember, we're going to give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Score during the course of the show. Score energy drinks. You can go to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and enter our Score competition. Nazim, before the break, we were taking a look at the logs in Super League A. Let's quickly bring a refresher for everybody that's just tuned in. If you take a look at the logs now, of course, Helderberg sitting at the top, followed by UCT, Unimil, Durban, then Villages, Hamiltons, and then, of course, Brackenfell, Marty, St. George's, Falsebay, Tygerberg. We are going to go back to the Helderberg St. George's game in a second. But when you look at the log now, Nazim, this is a unique scenario. We don't often have all three teams on the same log points. And then, of course, how often do we see points difference between two teams? Helderberg and UCT have got exactly the same log points and exactly the same points difference. Of course, when this happens, they look at who's got the most tries.
Yeah, 100% JP. I mean, this is also a reflection on how competitive our league is, and how healthy our club rugby is. If you get 3 or 4 teams that basically have the same log points, and like you said, I mean, the difference is obviously those that score the most tries. It will be first. That's why Helderberg is on top. But for me, it just shows, JP, that our league and our rugby, our club rugby, it is really, there's a lot of good players in the league. There's a lot of potential for our players to get and with the right guidance, maybe they can become provincial players. But this for me is fantastic to see this 3 teams with the same log points.
Yeah, well, if you look at some of those teams that are still games in hand, it becomes more close. But we'll talk about that in a second. Let's quickly take a look then at the second half between Helderberg and St. George's. Right, there we go, folks. Final result then for Helderberg, 43 points to 17. A solid win for Helderberg. That keeps them at the top of the log. Nazim, your final thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was a good result for Helderberg. St. George's, obviously, they were unlucky not to maybe get a bonus point out of that.
Yeah.
A fourth try. They scored 3 good tries. And I think they would have been happy if they could have get at least a bonus point out of that.
Well, they're sitting at number 9 on the log. They've played 8 games so far. They've got a little bit of work to do, but they're in the safe zone. And folks, we are now sort of halfway through the season already. Some teams have played 7 games. St. George's played 8 games, but a number of teams still have things on track. So teams like, for example, Durban still have a game in hand. They're sitting on 27 points in the log, which means that they are essentially in the top 4. So Village is also threatening there on 22 points on the log. Let's quickly take a look then at the results in the other results that came in this weekend. In Super League B, we see a win for CPT 24-22 over Primrose. Franschhoek 25-24 over All Saints. It was a win for Belleville over Kylemore. Strand 33-19 over Young Peoples. And Vineyards, well, they went down to Collegians, 27 points to 13 over the weekend. And then a big win for SK Warmers over Bellar, 48-7. And then Hands on Hearts also with a big win, 51 points to 16 over Paarl. In Super League C, we see a win for Van der Stel, a win for Panil Villages over Kraaifontein, Goodwood 29-5 over Blue Jets. Hamadias walks away with a win over Morningstar. Blue Stars went down to Busy Bees, and Macassar 59-18 over Masipumalele. In the Northern League, a win for Whistling Wheels, a win for Gordons Bay Pioneers, Silurians, Stellenbosch Coronations, and Strand United. And in the City League, well, that match did not happen between Elsie's Rivier and Police. And then, of course, Elsie's takes the points. The Silverleaf went down to Violets. Gardens and Callies, a 1-point win. We said that this was going to be a derby, 19 points to 18. And then Manenberg Rangers with a big win over Western Zebras. In the Women's League, we'll take a look at some of the highlights in a second. It was a win for Blue Jets over False Bay. UWC beat the Riverside Ladies by just 5 points. And then Kales River with a 5-point win over Elsie's Rivier United. All right then, folks, as you know, of course, Decro Paints is on board with Cape Rugby TV. By the way, if you want to buy yourself some Decro Paints or find your Decro answers or your solutions, then of course there's a store at N1 City where you can go to and somebody will help you with the paints. I was at the store the other day at N1 City. It's right next to Game, by the way, and walked in there. I was absolutely blown away. They've got a color section where you can go and choose your colors, helps you with the mapping of your different colors, and an enormous range of products, and especially at the moment where you want to be thinking about waterproofing. They've got water block and aqua block and all these products available that will currently help you with these wet winter conditions to help you, of course, waterproof your house, waterproof your buildings, waterproof your walls, and you really do need to think about that. That's, of course, Decro Paints, and you can visit Decro on www.decro.co.za. And as I said, otherwise, go and visit Decro at the store at N1 City. It's there next to the Game Centre, I believe. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up. We're, of course, taking a look at the match between False Bay and Blue Jets. We'll be back in a sec.